Hey guys, welcome back to The Thoughtful Therapist. It's that quiet place where you can go to just think about thinking. No prescriptions, no therapy, no nothing like that. With that in mind, if this has been something that you've been enjoying watching to this point, please like and subscribe. Share with your friends if you would. Every like and subscription helps. So today, episode 6, I'm still waiting to become an adult. If you are anything like me, childhood was a time of wondrous exploration and growth. Building an adult body through the much needed nutritional value of Pop-Tarts and mozzarella sticks. Discovering interests and slowly trying to understand the world around me. But I was also a genius. I knew everything about everything. For example, I knew my older brother's watch somehow had a direct link to a secret spy agency, a military GIO-esque organization. I knew that tomatoes and ketchup did not come from the same plant, no matter what they told me. And I know that when I touched that stalagmite at Luray Caverns, and that tour guide told me that if I touched it, I would turn into one of the cave formations, he was probably right. I also knew that Looney Tunes was based in real physics, and that True Lies was the best movie ever made. So in short, I was actually an idiot. Except about True Lies, that movie still goes hard. This is so interesting to me, not because I was able to be tricked by the guy at Luray Caverns or my crafty brother and his fancy digital watch, and not because these beliefs themselves were wrong, but because I felt so certain of them in the time. And I wonder sometimes, right, like, have things actually changed? Or am I just older and more handsome and still attempting to enjoy my Pop-Tarts and mozzarella sticks as if they are not an absolute detriment to my health? There were a lot of anxieties that formed at this young age. And some of them kind of slough off naturally as you learn more, because a lot of it is just in the unknown. A lot of serious and pressing anxieties too, like learning how to deal with quicksand on the daily basis on which it occurs in real life. And some don't slough off naturally. Like the anxiety around growing up and taking on responsibilities. Adults know everything, didn't you know? I'll never forget when I was a kid and my dad and I were driving through a rainstorm in his old Bronco. And I swear, you couldn't see 5 feet in front of you. The truck was towing a boat. I was so nervous. It was like 5 a.m. And I remember looking over at him, just absolutely nervous. And him just smiling at me and giving me that signature, I love you gesture. Right, and turning back towards the road, continuing forward, and seemingly just had no fear. And I remember thinking, like, he must have X-ray vision or something. But he definitely had a power that I didn't. But in that moment, I knew he had it. He had me, and I was safe because he was capable and in control. As long as that was true, nothing could touch me. I actually ended up falling asleep in the truck shortly after that. But it turns out there was no secret adult superpower. My dad was probably nervous as hell driving through that storm. But he knew that showing fear wasn't going to help his scared kid on his front seat. So he smiled and gave me that I love you gesture and just kept driving. And that was real power. And honestly, I'm still kind of waiting for that adult feeling to show up. I turned 18 thinking, okay, any day now. Then 21, 25, 30, and now 40. And here I am still eating Pop-Tarts like it's a personality trait. Wondering when the manual for real adulthood is going to arrive in the mail so I can get that like step-by-step guidance on what to do. The wildest realization has been this. Almost everyone I respect as an adult is secretly just winging it too. We're all just better at pretending we have the map. It reminds me of one of my favorite movies, True Lies, where Arnold Schwarzenegger's character is this like totally regular guy who pretends to be a badass secret agent, and he's living this double life trying to be a hero while also like barely holding it together at home. He's got all these lies going on. And that's kind of how adulthood feels. We're like walking around pretending we're the secret agent version of ourselves. Competent, in control, unflappable, no concerns, while inside we're still the kid who thinks quicksand is a daily threat and tomatoes don't come from the same place as ketchup. These anxieties don't go away as we get older. They just kind of like upgrade along with our vocabulary. That childhood fear of the dark becomes adult fear of financial ruin. Fear of getting lost becomes fear of becoming irrelevant. Fear of disappointing your parents becomes fear of disappointing your own kids. We keep waiting for that moment when we finally feel like a real adult, when the uncertainty disappears and we're magically calm, wise, and always sure of the next right step. But I'm not sure that moment's ever going to come, and maybe it never will. Maybe adulthood isn't the absence of uncertainty. Maybe it's that decision to keep driving through the rainstorm, smiling for the people who need you to, even when you can barely see 5 feet in front of you. Maybe the real superpower isn't knowing everything. It's showing up anyway. So it kind of turns out he did have a superpower, just not anywhere close to the one I thought he had. What I've learned is that imposter syndrome doesn't go away. It just changes its outfit every new stage of life. As a kid, I felt like an imposter every time I pretended to understand something complicated. As a teenager, I felt like an imposter trying to act like I had my life figured out. In my first real job, I was convinced someone was going to tap me on the shoulder and say, "We know you're faking it, and we need you to leave." And then came marriage. And suddenly I was supposed to be someone's partner, their safe place, their co-pilot through life. I remember thinking like, wait, they picked me? I still eat cereal for dinner sometimes. Every new job feels the same. That first week where you're smiling in meetings while internally screaming, "I have no idea what I'm doing here. Someone please explain and help." Even in relationships, romantic relationships, friendships, parenting, there are moments where you think, oh, if they really knew how lost I felt sometimes, they would run. The truth is, almost everyone I admire is carrying that same feeling. We're all just better at. It's kind of funny when you realize that. It's not even comforting at first. It's a little unsettling. Like, wait, no one knows what they're doing? That's the system? These anxieties don't go away as we get older? Maybe that's what growing up actually is. Not the moment uncertainty disappears, but the moment you learn to keep moving forward with it. Smiling for the people who need you even when you can barely see 5 feet ahead. But it is amazing how we keep waiting for this feeling of becoming an adult. I'm still waiting, and disappointedly, I may add. But these anxieties are real, and they don't come out of nowhere. They spring up from those early moments when our understanding of the world was cracked open by realities we couldn't yet fathom. Death, pain, true joy, love, loss, all of it. We were learning. And our anxiety just kind of came along for the ride. As an adult, I'm just as capable of being wrong as I ever was. I still miss things all the time. I still misunderstand, and I'm wrong like a lot. And I've noticed something humbling over time. The more certain I feel about my correctness, the faster reality seems to correct me and put me back in my place. And in that way, these anxieties aren't really new. Fears about safety, success, loneliness, and purpose don't disappear as we age. They just change their language. They mature alongside of us. They follow us through that life cycle, asking the same questions just in different forms. Not because we failed to grow up, but because growing up never meant outgrowing uncertainty. That's just not what it was. And I'm sure that when I enter my next stage of life, I'll look back at who I am today and think, wow, I really thought that was real. What an idiot. And I'll probably come up with new explanations for my current anxieties as well, convincing myself they're different from the ones that I've always had. One of my idols, Alan Watts, had a really funny sentiment that was kind of in the same vein of thought. He said something to the effect of, when I was younger, as a kid, and even as I was becoming a young adult, through those stages of the life cycle, I used to think of that common image of God, right? That elderly old man, like a grandpa with his white hair and beard, long hair, and that made his visage somehow more respectable, more mature, more wise, maybe. And then I became a grandpa, is what he said. And I realized I'm none of those things. I'm a fool. And I think that's kind of the point. Growing older doesn't remove our anxieties. It just gives us better language for them. We were wrong then, we're wrong now. And I don't know about you, but I'll definitely be wrong again. Except about True Lies. That movie is amazing. And I still haven't figured out yet if that knowledge or that feeling or realization is kind of disappointing, or if it's kind of freeing because it takes a bunch of pressure off. So maybe adulthood isn't understanding everything. Maybe it's the realization that no one ever did. And yet people keep going. Parents still drive through rainstorms. People still raise children. People still love each other despite not knowing what comes next. Not because they have any certainty in the matter at all, but because someone's got to keep going. Because if there's one thing I've learned in this life, if not me, then who? That's why I sit with it for today. Thanks for thinking it through with me. The Thoughtful Therapist. I'd like to remind everyone to like and subscribe to my videos, please. Every like and share and comment helps. I appreciate you. And I appreciate Synergy Health Group for being a unwavering sponsor for me on this project. If you're in the state of Florida and need someone to talk to, Synergy Health Group has the people to help. Thank you.